#SoftLife. It's considered a double-edged sword. On one hand, it promotes self-care and financial independence.
But on the other hand, it can create unrealistic expectations and pressure, especially for young women in our community.
Yeah, it's really all about finding that balance without setting ourselves up to fail. Joining us now, we have Miss Trina Braxton. Yes, she has started, look at the little prissy claps. She has starred in the reality series Braxton Family Values, and she's also interviewed reality stars as a talk show host. Okay, girl. Trina, what's your perception of the soft life?
Soft life can mean different things depending on your situation. It could be, is it a relationship with your husband? Is it a relationship with your children? Is it a relationship with your siblings and your loved ones and your friends? So it's about, knowing how to react to certain situations as well. Being able to speak properly when it's time to, and knowing when to be quiet.
Different perspectives of it.
Absolutely.
I love it. And of course, we just spoke about it being a double-edged sword.
Absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about that, the pros and cons of the soft life.
Well, the con of the soft life is sometimes people take that softness as sort of a weakness, and then they'll take that love and kindness that you have as a weakness. And sometimes you have to show them, look, I might be a little mild-tempered, but you put me in that corner, I'm not going to be so soft.
Yeah. This flower can turn to concrete.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so what's the good thing about the soft life?
The good thing about the soft life is just always being able to handle yourself correctly in the right situation.
Yeah.
But so many young people, as we said earlier, have this feeling that the soft life means I'm supposed to sit back, I don't really have to work, I'm going to have everything I need.
Well, I don't know how everyone else thinks about things, but if you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah.
So you can't just always just sit back and just expect a pampered life. You have to give something to get something. You can't always expect to always receive.
Yeah.
What are you getting?
Yeah. You talked a little bit about the diversity of the definition of the soft life, and I think it really begins with knowing what you want.
Absolutely.
So has the soft life, that term, evolved for you in your own personal experience? Because sometimes you can think you want something, you get it, and you're like, I don't think this is it.
Absolutely not. I'm very, very cognizant and very meticulous in what I want and in my asking.
Yeah.
So when I ask something, I expect to receive exactly what I'm asking for. So in that respect, the answer is absolutely not. It's not I'm expecting for that door to be open and for me to walk through it every time.
So that brings me to thinking about you being on a reality show and then hosting a reality show.
Yes. Yes.
What was the difference for you? Because you were hosting the Celebrity Mama's Check-In.
Yes.
So how did you balance from being the celebrity in a reality show and then actually hosting a show?
Well, I was a host for a sister circle for 3 years. And that actually helped me to hone in on my being able to ask the correct questions to people. But being a reality star, or being I don't want to call myself a star,
You are.
Yes.
Being on a reality show, I know the different types of questions to ask because I've been in it for so long. We've been doing it for over 12 years. So, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And I know, is this going to cross the line? Is this not going to cross the line?
Yeah.
And I want to actually show the best foot, especially because they were moms. And you always want to depict someone's mother in the best light.
Yeah.
For sure.
So have you ever been accused of living the soft life?
I don't know. No, my shoulders are pretty broad. No, I know, my husband always gets on because he says I'm a little hard sometimes, but, I think I cook enough to make it up.
Yeah. So what do you do for self-care?
Self-care. I need to work on that a little bit more.
Okay.
I need to work on taking out time for myself just a little bit more. But I am starting to go back to the gym, meditate a little bit more,
Yes.
and then focus on the things that I actually want. And I do boards too. And I have, I know this sounds really crazy.
No.
So there's a big mirror in my bathroom. And I have my mantras, and I wrote them down in eyeliner and lipstick.
Yes.
So it's definitely hard to come off, but I see it every day.
Okay, you got to
I can't help
share.
but to speak it every day.
You got to share. What is on that mirror?
There are several things, but two of the things I'll say is I am happy, I am healthy, I am well, and I am wealthy. I say my needs are met, I'm out of debt with plenty of more to put in store. I walk in the favor of God, therefore I have the favor of the people. Those are just some of the daily things that I say.
Yes, now I might need to run that back. That was incredible. And I think that is an absolute blessing for every single one of our viewers. Put it in the bathroom. Okay, say it to yourself every moment you get.